All right, one more minute and we'll get the class started. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Hindi University. Really excited to have all of you in today's class. One more minute and we'll get the class started. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Hindi University. Really excited to have. Okay. In case if you don't have the mute on, please have the mute on. And during the class, I'll definitely ask each of you to participate and share your thoughts. All right. All right, welcome everyone. Really excited to have all of you in this class. As you know, we meet every Sunday. We meet at 8 a.m. US Pacific time, which is the time in the west coast of the US, and we learn about the Hindi language. For those of you who are new to Hindi University, you can learn more about us by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hindi University. And you will find all the Hindi videos that we have. If you're interested in joining the live sessions, you can find all the details in tiny.cc/Hindi University. So for those of you who are completely new, I definitely want you to check out this page. Check out all the tabs that we have. Most importantly, the library, the Hindi University library that we have. And play around with it. It will help you look for all the previous classes structured properly based on the topics. So if you want to refresh any of the previous classes, that's your best resource, tiny.cc/Hindi University. As you know, lately we've been covering the book from Professor Rupert Snell. It's called Teach Yourself Hindi. You will find the link of the book also in that page, tiny.cc. /Hindi University, and right now we are going over chapter number 15 from Rupert Snell's book. Okay, and the topic is very interesting that we are learning, and the section that we are covering is 15.6. Okay, by the end of this class, my goal is that you'll be able to learn a very interesting suffix that you have in Hindi. Okay, it's called sa. Sa. Okay, the variations of that is sa, say, and si. Okay, and by the end of this class, my goal is that you'll have a good number of use cases where you can apply this suffix at the end of a lot of grammatical constructs in Hindi. Okay, so let's start with the definition of sa. I hope you all understand what suffix are. Just like the way you have prefix, which like some of the words that come before your nouns or adjectives or verbs, these are they come at the end of your word. Okay, and they enhances the meaning of it. So in this case, this particular suffix is used. It's used with noun or even adjectives, verbs, sometimes even pronouns. They're used with and modify their meaning. Okay, what is the other property of this suffix? This suffix, it gives them ish kind of a sense. And what do I mean by that? So think of it as like you you think of a color called blue, and then bluish, right? What does it mean? It means blue-like. Okay, so just like you have Neela in Hindi, you have parallel to that, it's Neela sa. Okay, if you say that aaj asman Neela sa hai, it's bluish today. Okay, that's the when you add the suffix at the end of these grammatical constructs, it gives them ish sense. That's what I mean by that. Okay, I think, let me erase it. Hopefully you were able to write it down.
While you are erasing, Ashu Ji, namaste.
Namaste.
This sa is not a postposition, but actually attached to the word and changes the meaning.
Yeah, it's considered both. It's also considered in some books a postposition. I'm covering it as a suffix, so that way at least you get the, you will see both sense as I cover the sentences. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, sometimes, now what do you mean by bluish? Like, is it enhancing the meaning or toning it down? It could be both. It could be both. So sometimes when you add sa, it enhances the meaning. Sometimes it tones it down. And I cover it. What do I mean by that? Okay. But right now, just write the definition. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of it? That's the fourth property I want to write down. It could mean the ish sense that we mentioned about. It could also mean like. So nila sa, blue or blue like. Okay. It could also mean just. The fourth one, just a bit. These are the various. As we cover more examples, and you will see that when you put sa at the end of these grammatical constructs, it may manifest in many forms such as these. Okay, so first I'll cover some examples, then we'll cover the various use cases. Initially, I'll try to cover a lot of adjectives, but as the class progresses, we will try different use cases. So let me erase it. This one you already have the example where you took the the blue color and you made it bluish. Okay, nila sa. What if, like, as you know, in Hindi, the word for fool is pagal. Okay, pagal is senile or or fool also. Okay, so the difference, let's say you say वह pagal hai, like he is a fool or he is a senile. Okay, वह, the other one is वह pagal sa hai. Okay, now it doesn't mean he's literally a fool, but he behaved like a fool. Okay, or he behaved a little bit senile. Okay, वह पागल सा है. Okay, now so far so good, right? I hope this is making sense, right? You just took the word here and you add some. Okay, similarly, let's say you are, I'm going to erase this. Okay, so let's say you have a fever. Okay, fever, and you're running a temperature. Okay. Radhika ji, what is the word for fever in Hindi?
Bukhar.
Bukhar, very good. Okay, how do you say I have fever? Or a fever, I have a fever.
मैं बुखार,
Yeah,
मैं बुखार हूँ और मैं बुखार सा हूँ. Feverish is a बुखार सा.
that's right. So we will cover that. So remember, it's a condition. Right? Very good. So to me,
मुझे, so yeah, मुझे.
yeah, to me there is a
To me,
fever.
yeah, to me.
Right? To me there is a fever. So you will say मुझे बुखार है. Awesome. मुझे बुखार है. Now, what if I put मुझे बुखार सा है? What do you think it means? You already gave the answer, by the way, but still, for the sake.
Feverish. I am feverish.
Very good, feverish. So you had fever and you gave it the ish sense, feverish. Okay, bukhar sa hai. Hope it makes sense. Now let's try one more. Rita ji, thanks for joining. I know you are probably out of town, but I'm glad you're able to make the time.
Yeah,
Um,
we're leaving later. Dhanyawad.
let's say it's very hot, which is hot in many places. Okay, you want to say I'm feeling hot. How do you say that? I'm feeling hot or warm or. And the verb you want to use is garmi lagna. How do you say that in Hindi? Give it a try. Okay, very good. मुझे गर्मी लग रही है. Awesome. So you will say to me मुझे गर्मी लग रही है. Okay. Same thing. You can have, instead of just this, you can make it a little bit more fancy. You can say मुझे गर्मी सी लग रही है. गर्मी सी लग रही है. Now, here's the thing. You may have noticed some cases I'm putting sa, some cases I'm putting si, some I'll be putting say. What do you think is determining that? Nandini ji, you want to unmute and tell us why in some cases we are putting sa and si and say?
I think it's following the adjective. Like garmi is like female, so you're
Okay.
making the sa to see. I think.
Okay, that's correct. So regardless of whether I'm saying it or you are saying it, we both will say मुझे गर्मी सी लग रही है, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Now this is correct. What about this? बुखार सा है, मुझे बुखार सा है.
Because mujhe is the ko blocks it, so it's about the bukar,
Okay.
and I guess it's masculine, and so mujhe bukar sa hai.
मुझे बुखार सा है. That's right. मुझे बुखार सा है. Okay. Now, okay. मुझे बुखार सा है. Okay. Let me just make sure that.
Well,
Okay. Awesome. Any other questions so far? So these are just like very basic examples so far. As we dig deeper, you will see more and more. But anyone, any questions? Okay.
so sorry, can I ask about pagal sa hai? Is like more. I'm like a fool. I'm foolish. He is foolish, or is he? He is like a fool. Which way?
Fool like.
Fool like. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep,
Sorry.
yep. So there you can say pagal sa, pagal si or pagal se, depending on what's following that. Okay, pagal sa ladka, pagal si ladki or pagal se log. Okay.
So it's not necessarily the pop. So the reason it's taken on the tense of the bukar or the garmi is because of the ko.
That is correct. Actually, you are right. So this is basically
That-
this. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I was to say the book is bluish, I'm
That's
talking
right.
about the book, it would be
That's right.
okay.
That's absolutely correct. Whatever you're referring to in the cases when you're talking about a book, as you said. So if kitab is feminine, you will use the gender of that. Okay. So you're absolutely right there. So you'll take, or if you're talking about a boy, you'll take the gender of the boy. If you're talking about a girl, you'll take the gender of a girl. Okay? If you're talking about masculine plural, you will use say. But it's, as you said here, ko is blocking it, so you are really taking the bukhar is the determining factor. Bukhar sa hai or garmi si hai.
Ashu, I have a quick question. Is there a difference yet in the meaning if it's like a more fever or less fever, or more hot or less hot?
So in the case of bukhar, it's you're feeling feverish, so there is a toning it down of that in there, like it's less fever. But in some cases it's you have to see the context in which it is said. Okay,
So we just
let's
use
say
our common sense, but the expression does not change.
expression does not change, it's the same thing. So
Okay.
let's say you are writing a story and you're saying बहुत दूर एक छोटा सा गांव है. Okay, so there, you are enhancing
Very
the
small.
meaning of it. It's a cute little town. Okay,
Mhm.
and then if somebody were asking a question, छोटे से गांव में क्या मिलता है, there they are toning it down. So in the first one you're trying to enhance by putting it छोटा सा गांव है, it's a cute little town, right? So even though it's small, but it's size used to modify the meaning of it in a positive way.
Mhm.
But if somebody else is asking you छोटे से गांव में क्या मिलेगा, like what will you find is like in a smallish town, there they are trying to reduce the meaning of it. I hope it makes sense and not
Yes,
confusing.
okay.
Can
Yeah,
you use
yeah.
it for time? Like, here when we say we're going to go somewhere, we'll say, oh, I'll be there around 3-ish.
So there you will use लगभग 3 बजे,
Okay.
मिलेंगे, as you know. So
Okay.
there you will use, yeah.
Ashu Ji, can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Just I'm trying to understand. वो पागल सा है. That means that's a man being foolish, right? He's
Yeah.
acting like a fool. So
Yeah.
if I say she is acting like a fool or she's like a fool, would it
Yeah.
be वो पागल सी है or not?
पागल सी है.
So here the pagal doesn't change, but the C changes. Is that right?
That's right.
The
Yeah,
pagal remains
because
as pagal.
that's right.
The
Yeah,
adjective.
that's
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now at the same time, वह, if you want to say, I'm going not to confuse you, वह पागल सा बर्ताव is behave. वह पागल सा behave और बर्ताव कर रहा है. So that's for a male, and for female you will say वह पागल सा बर्ताव कर रही है. That's for female. वह पागल सा बर्ताव कर रही है. So just bear in mind, it's also, now you can say why are you not saying वह पागल सी बर्ताव, पागल सी बर्ताव कर रही है. You will not say that. You will say वह पागल सा बर्ताव कर रही है. Okay, so but so generically speaking you are absolutely right. वह पागल सी है. But there can be certain cases where you have to really see the entire sentence and then try to make sense out of it. Okay, but let me not go to the corner cases, otherwise the focus will just shift to the corner cases versus the majority of the cases where it will just follow the standard rule. So first goal is to learn the standard parts. Okay, then comes the corner cases. Remember, that's always the case, otherwise we'll just end up learning the exception. Right? So let's take some more examples. So thoda, as you know, is, anyone? Prabhaji, what is thoda?
Thoda means little.
Very good, right? Little. And you have thoda sa. What is thoda sa?
I don't know.
Yeah, just a little.
Okay, just a little.
Just a little. Just a little. So Amritesh is joining. So 1 minute. So now let's say you want to say I need time, or I need more time. How will you say that in Hindi? There also you have to use O. Interestingly, Simona, you want to give it a try? I need more time.
मुझे समय more
Actually, I need little time.
मुझे थोड़ा समय चाहती हूँ
चाहिए.
चाहिए.
Right? I need time. Just like I need coffee. मुझे coffee चाहिए. मुझे help चाहिए. मुझे
Okay.
मुझे time चाहिए. Right? मुझे थोड़ा समय चाहिए. You can just put sa here as well, and it will become मुझे थोड़ा सा समय और चाहिए. I need a little bit more, just a little bit more time. Okay. Somebody is expecting you to deliver something and you're like, I just need a little bit more time. Like, मुझे थोड़ा सा समय और चाहिए. Okay. Let's say you are visiting your best friend's place and they're serving you some food. Can you all think about, and you want to use this expression thoda sa, how will you say that? I can start. Okay, मुझे थोड़ी सी कॉफी और चाहिए. Okay, मुझे थोड़ी सी कॉफी और चाहिए. I need a little bit more coffee. How else can you use it? Take any of your favorite dish or drink.
You can say, क्या आप थोड़ा सा समय और चाहिए?
You mean like
Maybe you are already eating something,
uh-huh.
and I'm asking, क्या आप थोड़ा सा समय और चाहिए?
समय, or you want to use
Yeah, not समय. क्या आप थोड़ा सा चाय और चाहिए?
Yeah, that you can just say that, like thoda sa, you can say that thoda sa chawal और लीजिए, like right, take a little bit more rice, okay, which is commonly used even in India, like thoda sa थोड़ी सी सब्जी और लीजिए, take a little bit more curry, right? Anyone else? You guys can think of more such expressions. You can use it in chat also.
Ashu Ji,
Huh?
मेरा एक सवाल है. This is just a word order question. So the or placement.
This one?
Right. So you're putting that before chahiye instead of in front of samai.
मुझे थोड़ा सा और समय चाहिए. You can actually put it wherever you want.
Okay, so that's not a big deal. Okay.
That's not a big deal. It's just, it's basically not that big of a deal. If you were to say मुझे थोड़ा सा और समय चाहिए, it's whatever following after that. Like, और समय चाहिए versus the focus is basically what's coming after that, right? What the word that is following, or. But in this case, it essentially means the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So like when I'm just trying to make sure I get this. So okay. Yes.
So here, मुझे थोड़ा सा समय और चाहिए. Okay. मुझे थोड़ा सा patience, और चाहिए. Okay. I'm just trying to look at, like in your case, if you were to say मुझे थोड़ा सा और समय चाहिए. Okay.
I know I'm Englishing it, which I don't want to do. So I guess that's what it is, right?
But other than the order, what if you were to put it in your mind, you're thinking that the meaning will be different, or is it more than that?
No, I just because I wouldn't have put it there. I would have put it before the samai, but I'm thinking too much in English.
Yeah, no, the meaning is exactly the same. Even if you put it here, it's the same, exactly the same. Yeah. So let's do some more examples in this case. And
Ashu Ji,
yeah.
You said about the food, मुझे थोड़ी सी चाय चाहिए. But if I put two things, for example, मुझे थोड़ी सी idli और chutney चाहिए, because the both I think finish with the E. I think both of them are feminine. I guess idli and chutney both feminine, I think.
So
but if I put idli or sambar, is it a C, thodi si, or thoda sa? What is that? It will.
So let's try that. So you are saying idli is feminine, and the other one is what?
I think so. I don't know, because
it is feminine. Sambar. Right. So this is masculine, and this is feminine. Idli. Now you're saying
thodi si or thoda sa there, because one is a feminine, one is a masculine.
Yeah. So you want to say both of them together?
Yeah, or so I'm going to use and idli and sambar. So I want a little bit more.
मुझे थोड़ी सी idli. Okay, so let me say it in my mind first. मुझे थोड़ी सी इडली और either you can split it, right? मुझे थोड़ी सी इडली
Okay.
और you can, if you are really like struggling with it, it's better to just split it. मुझे थोड़ी सी
Why,
इडली और हाँ
why can't I say, Ashu Ji, thode say idli or sambar?
well, I'm sure there is a rule for it as well. I'm
Sorry.
sure like one will take precedence over the other. I just don't recall off the top of my head which one
That's
will
okay. That's okay. It's just irrelevant as well. We are not going to use it in the near future.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure there is one that takes the precedence here. Like if you were to, if you want to just say like मुझे थोड़ी सी इडली और सांभर चाहिए, like you can split it if that's the rule is not coming to your mind right away.
Okay. Thank
Yeah?
you.
Yeah,
Right.
of course. So let's say, but the food part is clear, right? Thoda sa. Similar to that, let's say, if somebody is taking your feedback, they're cooking with you and they want you to give critical feedback. And, if they are asking you, khana kaisa tha aur kaisa laga? Or let's say they're still making it. Okay, so you're not being very mean or you're not negative when you're telling them. There also you can say थोड़ा सा नमक कम है. And the ask is all of you will have to think about it, what it means, and try to put it in chat. थोड़ा सा नमक कम है. Okay. And similarly, if I were to say थोड़ी सी लाल मिर्च ज़्यादा है. You can use chat to answer it, okay, or you can think about it. Either way is fine. थोड़ा सा नमक कम है, थोड़ी सी लाल मिर्च ज़्यादा है. Let's say somebody is cooking food and they want to ask you. Let me ask Tom this time. Tom, what do you think? थोड़ा सा नमक कम है. What is namak?
I'm sorry, I think my vocabulary is too limited.
What do you think if you were to just guess it randomly?
If I'm going to guess, it's masculine. And so it's going to be todasi.
Okay, thoda sa, that's correct, thoda sa. But so namak is salt.
Thank you.
What does it mean? What do you think? Thoda sa namak kam hai.
I would like to have more salt.
Okay, that's correct. So kam is like, it's not, there's a salt is a bit less in the curry or whatever you're being served. Okay, awesome. Anyone else would like to take a pass at this one? थोड़ी सी लाल मिर्च ज़्यादा है. शर्मिला जी?
What does lal miss?
Yeah, what do you think?
Red peppers.
Yes.
So there's a little too much lal mirch pepper.
Red pepper, right? So it's a powder, basically pepper powder, right? I mean, I think someone can explain it better, but yeah, if someone is serving you food and you can say थोड़ी सी लाल मिर्च ज़्यादा है. There's a little bit more of like the red pepper in it, like, so you have to, it may be more spicier for some people, the food. Okay, or you can say थोड़ा सा खाना थोड़ा सा तीखा है, which is means spicy. थोड़ा सा तीखा है.
So Ashu Ji, is it kind of like a little bit too little and a little bit too much?
That's right. A little
Okay.
bit too little. Yeah, थोड़ा सा नमक कम है and थोड़ी सी लाल मिर्च ज़्यादा है. Little bit too much. Okay, I think we are doing okay with time. Any questions, anyone? So far we still, majority of it is still adjective. We are putting sa on still adjectives. Then comes the little bit more complicated cases where we are putting it on to noun and verbs. Okay, so I'll pick up a pace here. The most commonly used adjective now is acha, right? So now I'm going to ask some of you who didn't have a chance to participate. So feel comfortable making mistake, right? And so let's say you have acha. Acha is good, right? So for acha you can have acha sa, अच्छी सी, अच्छे से, which essentially means good one. So from good it enhances the meaning to good one. Okay. So just like the example that Rita ji was giving. So you have kitab. So one is the अच्छी kitab. The other one is अच्छी सी kitab. Okay, so you can say मैं एक किताब पढ़ रही हूँ versus एक अच्छी सी किताब पढ़ रही हूँ. Okay, अच्छी सी किताब पढ़ रही हूँ. Okay, sometimes you can say like you're tired, you come home and you tell your husband, wife or your best friend एक अच्छी सी कॉफी बना दो, right? Sometimes you can put in a request like that, एक अच्छी सी कॉफी चाहिए, or I need a good coffee, basically अच्छी सी कॉफी चाहिए. Okay, same thing you can say for एक अच्छी सी किताब पढ़ने की इच्छा है. Okay, or you can even say एक अच्छी सी मूवी देखने की इच्छा है. I feel like watching a good movie. Now in English you will still say a good movie, but in Hindi, I'm sure in English also there is expression to modify the meaning of it, but like you can put in the extra C.
Ashu Ji,
Yeah.
can you please say it again? How do you say, I would like to watch I feel like watching good movie. अच्छी सी movie देखने.
एक अच्छी सी मूवी देखने की इच्छा है. You can write it down. एक अच्छी सी मूवी देखने की इच्छा है. I feel like watching a good movie. Okay.
Is it the key icha is like a key tarah? Is it wherever icha comes, key comes, or is it just a key there?
देखने की इच्छा. So की इच्छा will come with if you it is a desire of something, right? That's why there is a key. So किसकी इच्छा?
Is it a rule always when you see icha, it will in front of that? Is it a
If it is the ichha of something, then it definitely has to have like a postposition, or in this case, like ki ichha. Kiski ichha hai? Dekhne ki ichha hai. Okay. If it is a desire to eat, एक अच्छा सा समोसा खाने की इच्छा है. You can say, right? So again, there the desire is to eat, right? So खाने की इच्छा है, right? Yeah. If you have a desire to drink something, well, how will you say it? Let me ask you now. Like mango lassi, you want to feel like having a mango lassi.
एक अच्छी सी लस्सी पीने की इच्छा.
There you go. पीने की इच्छा है, right? एक अच्छी सी मैंगो लस्सी पीने की इच्छा है. Awesome. Right. So, yeah.
Is it like मेरी स्कूल बहुत अच्छी है?
Say it again. मेरी स्कूल बहुत
अच्छी है.
Yeah. So there you are saying my school is good. Okay. But let's say you want to enhance the meaning of it. मैं एक अच्छे से स्कूल में जाती हूँ. There's another way of saying it. So your sentence is absolutely correct. मेरी स्कूल अच्छी है. My school is good. Same thing you can say it other way. मैं एक अच्छे से स्कूल में जाती हूँ. You don't have to force yourself, but just because today we are learning this suffix, sa, say, and see, that's why you're seeing more and more focus on that. But right now you go with your sentence. मेरी स्कूल अच्छी है. Okay. As you get more and more comfortable, playing around with this suffix, you can find opportunities to fit it there. Okay. So just
Did
like
you
that.
take Ache say because
Yeah.
of the may?
मैं एक अच्छे से स्कूल में, that's right, मैं एक अच्छे से स्कूल में जाती हूँ.
I mean, the Ache say is because of the school may, because of the post position?
Because of post position,
That's
it is.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Wait, Ashu Ji, for that last one, is it because, when I'm thinking about emphasis, usually, we've been talking about like he or be, I can't, oh gosh, my he and be's now, I have to go back over them. But the emphasis, versus this one, how would I differentiate that this one is not goodish? I go into, is it just the way the delivery, the way you
It is
say
the
it?
way of delivery. मैं एक अच्छे से स्कूल में जाती हूँ.
Okay, because otherwise it could be like, I go to a goodish school.
No,
Right?
so that is correct. So remember, I said it can be used to tone it down or enhance the meaning.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Similar to that, like let's say let's say you are telling, you're complimenting some of your friend that you have everything, you have this, you have that, what else do you want? Like you should be happy and grateful in your life, right, that you got everything. Then they can say बस एक अच्छी सी नौकरी मिल जाए, एक अच्छी सी job. In Hindi it's basically नौकरी, एक अच्छी सी नौकरी मिल जाए, और आई एम गोना जस्ट राइट चाहिए फॉर सिंपलिसिटी, एक अच्छी सी नौकरी चाहिए. In this case you are enhancing the meaning. I just need a good job, basically. अच्छी सी नौकरी चाहिए. Okay, you can say एक अच्छा सा घर चाहिए. So again, like right now, because we are learning this suffix, you can simply say अच्छा घर चाहिए. Okay, but because we are learning this suffix, I'm trying to give more and more examples of how you can use it. अच्छा सा घर चाहिए. Okay.
Ashu Ji,
Yeah.
does it come with the noun as well? Like, for example, Sophia Ji, अच्छा सा सितार बजाती है. Or in that case, अच्छा सा for Sophia Ji, or is it doesn't come with this kind of sentences? For example, Ashu Ji teach Hindi beautifully. So for example, if I say Ashu Ji in front of it, so is it the...
So we will cover that. So, but if you were to, you're saying like, should we put
somebody's name? Yeah.
Name and after sa. What does it mean, right? Ashu
No.
sa. Is that
No,
like...
not Ashu sa. Ashu Ji, अच्छा सा, और अच्छी सी हिंदी सिखा.
It's not gonna go like that though. Like Ashu Ji Hindi,
Okay.
yeah, it's not gonna go like that. I know you're trying to fit there, like can you can definitely put Ashu sa, and I'll cover right after.
No,
if you're worried about can I put it after, like the name, you can put it, or role also you can put it. So we'll cover it right after that. Okay. And maybe that will clarify your doubt. So far, all the cases we covered, you will see all these are adjectives, and we are putting sa, say, and see after that. I want you to, as a homework exercise, think about chota. Okay, chota is small, and the variations of that is smallish. In many cases, smallish. So chota sa, choti si, and chote se. Okay. I'm going to go fast here, but there are many. I want you to write at least 3 or 4 sentences with chota sa, choti si, and chote se. Example would be ek chota sa favor chahiye. I need a smallish favor. From a small favor generally you will say, but in Hindi ek chota sa favor chahiye. Okay. Or ek other one, ek choti si baat. There's a movie in Hindi, choti si baat. They don't get choti baat, they say choti si baat. Okay. Similarly, मैं एक छोटे से घर में रहता हूँ. I live in a smallish house. Okay. छोटे से घर में रहता हूँ. Hopefully it makes sense, but I want you to try out as a homework exercise for छोटा सा, छोटी सी, and छोटे से. Okay, so we'll move on now, and now we will cover case 2. So these are all adjectives. Okay, now we'll do case 2, in which we are so now we have case 2, which is now you'll try to put sa, si, and say suffix with you have a noun. Nouns are used with possessives. Okay, so let's say you have a mother, noun, and then mother's love. Okay, how will you say that in Hindi? Mother's love. Someone who hasn't had a chance yet. Randall ji, what do you think?
माता जी का प्रेम है.
Okay, माँ का प्यार is mother's love. माँ का प्यार, right? और माँ का प्रेम, or the other way you mentioned it, माँ का प्यार. Okay, so let's say you are living in your aunt's or some of your relatives' place. Okay, they hosted you for a tiny bit of time, and you want to give them a compliment. Okay, आपने मुझे माँ सा प्यार दिया. माँ सा प्यार दिया. Mother like. You gave a love like mother like, right? Okay, mother like. In fact, you know ma is also a word for mummy or mata, right? You probably have heard of like a role in Hindi, which is basically ma si. Anyone has heard of this role, ma si? Priya ji? Yeah.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
here.
You're here?
I'm
Okay.
a Masi.
You're a masi. Okay, what does it mean?
I'm a Masi. Ma-si is a short form of Ma Jaisi, and it means mother's sister,
That's right. It's mother's sister.
maternal aunt.
Mother's sister. Okay, that's right. And they call it Masi because she is just like mother. That's why it's Masi. So hopefully that clarifies it. Like, so you put sa, si, and say, but because ma is feminine, you put it si after that. So Masi. So it became a role in Hindi as well because she is like mother. So it's Masi. Okay, Masi. They call it
What
Masi.
does Dia mean?
Diya is, dena is basically to give. Dena is to give. If it is used in past tense, it becomes diya. Okay, pyar diya, because pyar is so pyar diya, that's why it is using diya. So dena again is a verb to give. Okay, so mother's love, it's ma ka pyar, and let's say you want to say you give me love like a mother, so ma sa pyar diya. Okay. Rupert Snell uses an example of, just like you have mother's love, he uses an example of like he says what arrogance of a politician. Arrogance of a
I knew it wouldn't be positive when you said it was an example from the book.
he uses this example, arrogance of a politician, and a politician in Hindi is neta. I forgot the word. Okay, neta. So politician in Hindi is neta, and the word for arrogance he uses is gamand, also pride. Okay, so in Hindi you'll be neta ka gamand. Okay, neta ka gamand. Okay, now he uses it after neta ka sa gamand, which is basically, look at it, it's noun with the possessive. So neta ka noun and possessive, and after that you're putting neta ka sagamand. Okay, so let's say I want to say like usme, like he has arrogance like a politician. Okay, like John में नेता का सा घमंड है, or he is behaving like he has arrogance like a politician. Okay, so you will not be using case 2 so much, but this case is more about like when somebody else is using it, or when you're reading it and you come across it, it should strike to you that it's okay to use this suffix when there is a noun that is used along with a possessive. Okay, so another example would be food from home, or home like food. Food from home. घर का खाना, right? So घर का खाना. Okay, घर is house, as you know, or home, or khana is food, like so home food, basically घर का खाना. There also you can say घर का सा खाना. Okay, आपने घर का सा खाना सर्व किया, like you served me a home like food. Okay, that you get it at home. Okay, so just a recap here. This is you have a noun along with possessive, and after that you're putting like this suffix. Okay, you will not be using this one so frequently. So if this case 2 was tricky for you, don't worry about that too much. Okay, but at least if somebody is using it, you should be able to understand it. Okay, and here the meaning is like arrogance like a politician, neta ka sa government. Okay, food like a home like food, like gar ka sa khana. Okay, all those should be at least okay to you. The case 3rd will be useful, which I'll be covering now, which is you have verbs, and now you're using this suffix after the verb. Okay, so case 3 is your verbs and using this suffix sa, si, and se. Okay, there it means kind of, or kind of. Okay, so imagine, I'm going a little bit fast just to make up for the time. So let's say imagine, and also I can take your questions after that. So imagine you have, he is crying. How will you say that in Hindi? Someone who has not had a chance yet. That's it. Sangeeta ji, it's easy for you, but why don't you still try it? He's crying.
वो रो रहा है.
वह और वो रो रहा है. Can you put in sa here?
Maybe rosa after ro.
Okay, so you have वह और वो, and you can say वह रो सा रहा है. What does it mean?
He is kind of crying.
Kind of crying. Okay, he is kind of crying. वह रो सा रहा है. Okay, sometimes you can say वह रोने सा लगा. Okay, वह रो सा रहा है. Okay, one more time, just opposite of rona is hasna, right? So sometimes you say mujhe hasi. One is मैं हंस रहा हूँ. Second one is laughter is coming to me. मुझे हंसी आ रही है. Okay. Sangeeta ji, if I were to put, here also sa, say, and see, where will I put it, and what does it mean?
I was
Maybe
thinking,
up.
Huh?
How do you see?
Try it. Why don't you try, Sangeeta ji, and then Rita ji, you tell us the meaning of that.
no, I was thinking of a different example of my own. I'm ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so Sangeeta finish, and then you give your example, Rita ji.
मुझे हंसी सी आ रही है.
मुझे हंसी सी आ रही है. What does it mean, and when will you use it? More importantly, for other people. मुझे हंसी सी आ रही है.
I am not sure.
Yeah. Have you ever used this one, like this suffix?
I wouldn't say I'm kind of laughing or.
Yeah. I feel like laughing, like, आपकी बात सुनकर हंसी सी आ रही है. It could be a little bit of a smirk also, like, it's such a, it could be a scoff as well, like, it's such a funny thing, like, I feel like laughing. You're not really laughing, but हंसी सी आ रही है. One is like मैं हंस रही हूँ और मुझे हंसी आ रही है और हंसी सी आ रही है, right? I mean, it could be an insult also to the other person. It's, it's the way something is being said, like हंसी सी आ रही है. Okay. Rita ji, you tell us your.
No, I was just thinking when you said laugh, I was just thinking like kind of, sort of, like when somebody says a joke and you don't really get it, and somebody says, "Well, the joke was kind of funny."
Yeah, you can say that kind of funny.
Okay.
Yeah. Funny sa tha, you can say that. So if you want to mix it Hindi and English, funny sa tha, kind of funny, or I'm looking for a word here, but you can say that. Funny sa tha. Just like, you watch a movie and it was like, it was horrible, or it was like kharab si movie dekh li. Okay. Bekar si movie thi, right? There also you can put it. Okay. Let's say this one. He was kind of scared. He was kind of scared. Legit sentence. How will you say that in Hindi? He was kind of scared.
वो डरा सा था.
Okay. There are many ways to say it, but go with what's the closest to you. Finish it up.
Is it like?
Yeah.
Is it like वह रही scared है?
Okay, so let's say I'm going to give a simple one. He was, let's say if the sentence was he was getting scared. How will you say that, Trisha? He was getting scared. The word.
वह डर रही scared है.
Okay, so you will say वह डर रहा था और डर रही थी. Okay, for he it would be वह डर रहा था.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, so to get scared it's डरना. Right? The डरना is the verb here. डरना. वह डर रहा था. Okay. If you were to say वह डर सा रहा था. Okay, he was kind of getting scared. Okay, so that's basically, it's kind of not really, but he was kind of scared. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I know this doesn't really fit the regular and the format that we follow, and here we are really putting the suffix on the verbs, right? We tried first with rona, वह रो सा रहा है, then we tried with हंसना, हंस सा रहा है, and then then we tried to put it on this डरना, right? डर सा रहा है. Rupert Sen also uses an example, he uses in the past tense, which is, the example is she sat down. Like, you know, if you were to say this, the woman sat down. That's what he uses. And the Hindi is aurat. You know, the woman sat down. He'll say the aurat बैठ गई, and then he uses, like, along with that, बैठ सी गई. She kind of sat down. So first one is बैठ जाना, is to sit down, and then, you know, for past is बैठ गई, and then he says बैठ सी गई. She kind of sat down. Now, when will you use it? It's a tricky question. When will you use it? Based on the situation, you know, she's kind of sitting down. She, you know, hard to come up with a scenario, right? Where बैठ सी गई. Any questions?
She was sitting at the edge of the chair.
You can say that she was sitting on the edge of the table, right? But other examples you guys can think of where you're using it with verb, I want to hear more from you, so at least I can get some feedback whether it is going well or what you guys are thinking.
Or maybe like when I call myself running, it's more like a jog. I kind of ran.
I kind of ran. Okay.
Well, you know, because it's more like a jog, but
What is a jog? Okay. Okay.
so like it's more like a walk jog. So like
Walk jog.
may ache bug si gai.
मैं एक
It looks more like a limping along.
yeah. मैंने एक दौड़ सी, you know, करी, like, you know, it was kind of a race. I did a, you know, मैं दौड़ी versus, like, you know, मैंने एक दौड़ सी. That one is harder actually, Rita ji. But at least your thinking is correct, right? Anyone else?
Can we say मैं रोज दौड़ सी लेती हूँ?
No, honestly, this one is, now I'm thinking, like, you know, I hope it doesn't. Tell one more time. मैं
रोज दौड़ सी लेती हूँ.
मैं रोज
Like दौड़ लेती हूँ would be like a proper run, and then दौड़ सी लेती हूँ. Kind of like.
Okay, I see. I didn't hear the last part. दौड़ सी लेती हूँ. दौड़ सी लेती हूँ.
Yeah, I'm भाग सी लेती हूँ, but yeah, दौड़ना is a better one for jogging, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think मैं दौड़ सी लेती हूँ. Okay. I think it will fly because you are saying it like, you know, I kind of, you know, I kind of run every day. You know, at least I try to. Is that what you are inclining to say here, Riya ji? मैं रोज.
That's what, yeah, it's like kind of run. It's like
Yep.
You know, I get tired and I may start walking or jogging, but I'm like, it's not like a really like a race. I'm kind of running.
Yep.
If you saw me, you'd understand.
Yep. You know, I think this is correct because, you know, the regular is मैं दौड़ लेती हूँ, right? And then she is putting it, see, मैं दौड़ सी लेती हूँ. So it works well. Initially, I didn't hear this part, दौड़ लेना. So दौड़ सी लेती हूँ.
Ashu Ji, what about I was kind of hoping?
Kind of hoping. How will you say that?
Ay Dios.
Kind of hoping. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Ellie, what do you think?
So would it, okay, like if I say I hope, I say like mujhe asha hai ki blah blah blah. But so would it be asha karna? I mean, to hope, to.
So I would say उम्मीद है. First one is मुझे उम्मीद है, और second one is मुझे उम्मीद सी है.
So you use umid because wait, asha you don't use mujhe, right? You say me asha.
मुझे आशा है, but you know, I can say that, but आशा सी doesn't really go well. उम्मीद सी it goes reasonably well. मुझे उम्मीद सी है. मुझे आपसे उम्मीद सी है. You know,
Like I
Like
was
that.
hoping you wouldn't call on me. That would be a good one. I was kind of hoping you wouldn't call on me.
Yeah. मुझे उम्मीद सी है. We're slightly over time. If you guys have time, we can quickly wrap it up, which is the last case. So we tried it with. Yeah, go for it. Ask your question.
Let's means. What does leti mean?
The word leti. Okay. So lena is. Priya ji, why don't you explain it?
To take.
To take.
So I was kind of running. Matos Dodsi Leti I was kind of taking to running. It's
Dod
meaning
lena.
yeah,
That's right.
Dod Lena.
So dodna is used with lena. Dod lena. It's basically, what does it mean in literal sense in English?
Like take to running.
Take to running. Okay, but in general, Trisha, lena is to take, right? And then in this case, it was used in a slightly more advanced manner, which is like, it's used with dodna. So, and it was said as dod lena, take to running.
Okay.
Yeah. The last case is simple, but it's gonna take me 5 minutes, so it's sorry about running a bit over, but at least we'll finish this topic. So in this one, it's basically used with miscellaneous cases such as interrogative as well. So you probably have heard of the word con, right? Con is basically which, right? It is used with that as well. So you probably have heard of consa, consi, and conse, right? So all of them we mean which one, okay? So the question could be आपको कौन सी किताब चाहिए? Which book do you want? Okay, and the answer could be कोई सी भी. You mean anyone, any book. So you see the response could be मुझे first you can give the name of the book, right? Or you can even use the wali. मुझे वो वाली किताब चाहिए. Give me that book. In this case, I deliberately used the example koi si bhi. So koi is also an interrogative. Along with that, I use koi si bhi, anyone. Okay. कौन सा लड़का सबसे बदमाश है? Which boy is the naughtiest one? Okay. कौन से बच्चे के पास एग्जाम्पल could be ये किताब है और ये सर्टिफिकेट है. Okay, there also you're trying to use it like con, and then after that is being used like sa, se, and si. So Rupert Snell says like basically this suffix is commonly used with these positions as these interrogatives as well. Okay, kaun si kitab, and then the other example he gives here is basically where you have a word like ek. Ek is one. Okay, and if it is used with ek sa, it means similar. Okay, one is ek sa is similar. Okay, so if your examples is वह और वे एक सा खाना खाते हैं. वे एक सा खाना खाते हैं. They eat similar food. Okay, if you were to simply say वे खाना खाते हैं, they eat food. Okay,
I thought like it's eksa like a bit, but no, like a little eksa.
Give an example. Eksa.
No, I remember seeing it in a movie. It was like I thought it meant like a bit, like when we first started out with a little bit, but like we say eksa would be like Oh, a bit. Like, are you full? Oh, a bit. Like, are you tired? You would just say like, yeah, a bit.
थोड़ा सा I would say थोड़ा सा tired.
Okay.
थोड़ा सा.
Okay. Just say thoda sa. Okay. So it's a little bit. Okay.
एक सा is similar.
Similar. Okay.
वे एक सा खाना खाते हैं. If you were to simply say they eat food, वे खाना खाते हैं. वे एक सा खाना खाते हैं.
Okay. For those that try to English everything, that's going to be hard to remember. Ek sa, similar. Okay.
Okay. हमारे घर एक से हैं. Our houses are similar. एक से. You will also see it could be used as एक जैसे as well. Okay. हमारे घर एक से हैं. Okay. Last one. Their complaints are similar. We'll wrap it up here. Who would say that? Anyone who has not had a chance at all. Their complaints are similar. Their complaints are similar. Okay, awesome. I think unki okay, awesome. Anyone else? Kinga ji?
उनका शिकायत
Complaint शिकायत. Okay.
उनकी फेमिनिन है तो उनकी शिकायत एक्सी है.
उनकी शिकायतें एक सी है. उनकी शिकायतें एक सी है. Awesome. Great. I know we are slightly over, like 10 minutes over, but at least we finished this topic, suffix, of using sa, say, and see at the end of many grammatical constructs. We started with using it with adjectives. Then we went on to start it with nouns that are used with possessives. Then we tried it with verbs, and then we tried it with miscellaneous scenarios. If you don't remember anything in this class, at least remember that it gives the ish sense to the grammatical construct that we have. So blue becomes bluish, or the other one, if you want to remember, is kind of, and third one is like. Okay. So these are 3 things to remember in this topic. Rest, the complicated stuff, if it doesn't go well right now, it's okay. Okay, don't stress out about it. Okay. So with that in mind, I'll stop the broadcast.